A desperate man sweats. A master flows. This is the first law of power that nobody teaches you in school. We are raised on the doctrine of labor. We are told that if we want something, we must suffer for it, chase it, and force it into existence. We equate the amount of effort we expend with the value of the reward we receive. But in the realm of social dynamics and attraction, this equation is inverted. Effort signals friction. If you are pushing, it means something is resisting. And if something is resisting, it means you have not mastered your environment. The man who tries the hardest to be liked is usually the most disliked man in the room. He is the one laughing too loud, nodding too fast, and agreeing too eagerly. He reeks of effort, and effort reeks of desperation. You are likely exhausted. You feel that you are doing everything right, yet the results remain out of reach. You plan the perfect dates, you craft the perfect text messages, and you constantly monitor the emotional temperature of your interactions. You are operating like a machine engine that is overheating because it is grinding against the gears. You are not failing because you are lazy. You are failing because you are violating a fundamental principle of mastery, known to the ancient Taoists as Wu Wei. Translated literally, it means non-action or effortless action. It does not mean doing nothing. It means doing only what is necessary and allowing the rest to unfold according to its own nature. It is the art of cutting through a bone at the joint, where there is no resistance, rather than hacking at the solid mass. To understand why trying hard destroys your status, we must look at the evolutionary signals involved. In nature, energy is a finite resource. An apex predator does not waste calories. A lion does not pace anxiously around the savannah trying to impress the gazelle. It moves with economy. It rests until the moment of action is absolute. Wasteful movement is a sign of inefficiency and anxiety. When you overinvest energy into a social interaction, when you over-explain, over-apologize, or over-pursue, you are signaling that you are inefficient. You are signaling that you believe your inherent value is so low that you must compensate for it with labor. You are paying a premium price for a product that should be free. Consider the dynamic of the seller versus the buyer again. The salesman is sweating. He is talking fast. He is using every psychological trick in the book to close the deal. Why? Because he needs the sale to survive. The buyer is calm. The buyer asks a simple question and then waits. The buyer is practicing Wu Wei. He is allowing the interaction to come to him. When you force an outcome, you are operating from a mindset of scarcity. You are subconsciously screaming that if you do not control every variable, you will lose. This fear of loss is palpable. People can smell it on you. It triggers their instinct to pull away, because humans are biologically wired to avoid things that feel desperate. Desperation implies a threat to resources. The concept of Wu Wei teaches us to align with the flow of reality rather than fighting against it. In the context of relationships, this means understanding that attraction cannot be negotiated. You cannot argue someone into desiring you. You cannot perform your way into their heart. Attraction is a biological response to high-status cues. One of the highest status cues is nonchalance, or what the Italians call sprezzatura, the art of making the difficult look easy. When you are nonchalant, you signal that you are comfortable with uncertainty. You signal that your internal reality is so stable that the external chaos of the dating market does not disturb you. You are like a rock in a river. The water moves around you, but you do not move. Let us apply this to the common mistakes men make. The first is the overplanned date. You meet someone new, and in your anxiety to impress, you create a rigid itinerary. Dinner at 7, show at 8:30, drinks at 10. You are checking your watch. You're stressed about traffic. If the restaurant loses your reservation, you panic. This is the opposite of Wu Wei. You're trying to force a perfect experience. But the woman is not looking for a perfect itinerary. She is looking for a leader who can handle imperfection. A master has a plan, but he holds it loosely. If the restaurant is closed, he laughs and grabs a slice of pizza on the corner. He flows with the disruption. His lack of stress is more attractive than the most expensive dinner you could buy. The second application is the silence fixer. You send a text. She does not reply for 3 hours. The friction begins in your mind. You start to create narratives. Did I offend her? Is she losing interest? The tension builds until you cannot take it anymore. You send a second text to check in, or a meme to break the ice. You have just broken the law of Wu Wei. You felt resistance, and you tried to force through it with effort. By double texting, you relieved your own anxiety, but you killed the tension that was necessary for attraction. You showed her that you cannot sit with silence. You showed her that her validation is the regulator of your emotional state. The third application is the dancing monkey. This is the man who feels that a lull in conversation is a failure on his part. He constantly generates new topics. He asks interview questions. He tells long, unprompted stories to prove he is interesting. He is rowing the boat upstream, exhausting himself to keep the interaction moving. The master allows the silence to exist. He knows that conversation is a tennis match. He hits the ball over the net, and then he waits. If she does not hit it back, the game is over. He does not run to her side of the court to hit it for her. He is willing to let the conversation die if there is no mutual energy. Paradoxically, this willingness to let it die is what makes it live. It creates a vacuum that she feels compelled to fill. There is a profound biological effect when you stop trying. Your cortisol levels drop. Your voice deepens because your vocal cords relax. Your facial micro-expressions become slower and more deliberate. This is the physical manifestation of status. When you are anxious and trying hard, your face is twitchy. You smile too much to appease others. Your eyes dart around the room. This is prey behavior. Prey animals are hypervigilant because they are constantly scanning for threats. Predators are calm because they are the threat. By adopting the principle of effortless action, you hack your own nervous system to project the signals of a predator, not in a violent sense, but in a sense of supreme confidence. We must dismantle the myth that this passivity makes you weak. There is a difference between passivity and active detachment. Passivity is fear of action. Wu Wei is the strategic choice to act only when the leverage is in your favor. It is the sniper who waits 3 days for the perfect shot versus the soldier who runs into the open firing blindly. The sniper is not lazy, he is lethal. In your life, you are wasting ammunition. You are firing your attention, your time, and your emotions at targets that are out of range. You are tired because you are inefficient. You need to stop pushing the river and let the current carry the debris away. So, how do we practice this safely? You cannot just become a statue. You need rules of engagement that enforce this mindset until it becomes natural. The first tool is the one attempt rule. This applies to making plans. If you suggest a time and place for a meeting, and she says she cannot make it but offers no alternative, You do not try again. You do not say, "Okay, how about next Tuesday?" You simply say, "No problem. Let me know when you're free." And then you stop. You have taken your action. Now you wait for the universe to respond. If she wants to see you, she will reach out. If she does not, you have saved yourself the humiliation of chasing someone who is not interested. You have conserved your energy. The second practice is the facial reset. Before you enter a room, a meeting, or a date, take 3 seconds to scan your own face. Most men carry tension in their jaw and around their eyes. They are physically bracing for the effort of social interaction. Consciously drop your jaw. Relax the muscles around your eyes. Wipe the pleasing expression off your face. Enter the room with a neutral canvas. This feels dangerous at first. You will feel like you look angry or bored. You do not. You look composed. By relaxing your muscles, you signal to your own brain that there is no danger, which in turn allows you to act more naturally. The third practice is the pause of power. When you are asked a question, especially a challenging one, do not answer immediately. The desperate man answers instantly to prove he is smart or to avoid the awkward gap. The master takes a breath. He waits 2 seconds. He considers the question. Then he speaks. This tiny gap of non-action changes the entire weight of your words. It shows that you are not rushing to please. It shows that you value your own thoughts enough to formulate them properly. It forces the listener to wait for you, subtly reinforcing your status as the prize. You must understand that letting go is the ultimate display of abundance. Only a man with many options can afford to let one go. Only a man with deep internal resources can afford to stop chasing external validation. When you stop trying to control the outcome, you paradoxically gain control over yourself. And self-control is the only control that matters. The woman, the job, the status, these are external variables. You cannot dictate them, but you can dictate your own state of being. Beware of the fake nonchalance. This is when you pretend not to care, but inside you are screaming. This is just another form of effort. True Wu Wei comes from a deep acceptance of reality. It is the realization that if you are enough, you do not need to prove it. And if you are not enough, no amount of acting will cover it up. Therefore, the only logical path is to be who you are, state what you want, and accept what happens. Think of water. Water is the softest substance, yet it cuts through rock. It does not cut through rock by hammering it. It cuts through rock by flowing, by yielding, and by persisting without force. Be like water. When you encounter a blockage in a relationship, a conflict, a cold shoulder, a rejection, do not smash against it. Flow around it. If a door closes, do not kick it down. Flow to the next open window. This fluidity makes you impossible to defeat because you are not offering a solid surface to strike. Ultimately, trying too hard is a lack of faith. It is a lack of faith in your own value and a lack of faith in the natural order of things. You believe that without your constant manipulation, your world will fall apart. But the sun rises without your help. The tides come in without your permission. Your heart beats without your conscious command. Trust that your social life can also function without your frantic interference. The takeaway is simple. Don't push the river. It flows by itself. In every interaction you have this week, ask yourself, am I forcing this or am I allowing this? If you feel friction, stop. Step back. Withdraw your energy. Watch what happens. Often, the moment you stop pushing, the dynamic shifts. The other person feels the space you created, and they step forward to close the gap. And if they don't, then you know the truth without having wasted another drop of your precious essence. Stop selling. Stop chasing. Stop trying. Start being. This is the way of the master.